May 1st, 2013. Happy May Day. Happy May Day. There you are. A couple pictures I found in storage. This one. Does it look like me? Glasses. Oh, turn my head this way. No, it does look like me. Don't squint your eyes. It's by Devin, 2008. So, Devin first came into our lives. He was an artist, or is an artist. I did a drawing. He did a better one up on the wall. I showed you that before, but it is the better. It's definitely done quite well. And again, that's done by Devin. This one's done by Gallup in Canada, and that's a picture of Gordon. Gordon. Having a birthday here in a few days. Happy birthday, Gordon. Here's one of Gordon. It's our first dog, King. Yeah, I talked about King before. We got him when he was a puppy. I first moved up. I was at home a lot, doing school. I was actually finishing my high school curriculum through the junior college out in Wilmer there, and Gordon had a few businesses, and one of the somebody came in and let's see, I think he was he worked on one of the forces. I don't know if he was a fireman, because Gordon had optical business, optical and hearing, and came in and found. He must have been out on a run or something. He found the puppy. He was the only one alive because someone had killed the mother, and the other puppies had died. This was winter and it was cold, but he was the only one that survived. And we took him in, called him King, and raised him from a pup. He was just a little fur ball. There, he's much older. I think that's the one. What's the picture? Looks like he's out looking at the couch out in Wilmer. I remember the gray sweat jacket. So, but we had him for a couple of years, and then he got hit by a logging truck when he was in Washington. So he would have lived many more years after that. I remember hiking many times in the woods, but just growing up from the puppy phase, because I was home all day, and raised him, and he'd go with me out into the woods. I never felt scared or alone with him there with me. I always felt like I was protected. He was very, very protective for both of us. It seems like, I don't know, our dogs seem to have more attraction and respect for Gordon. Because, they'd play around. They would roughhouse. I'm not really a roughhouse person. And I know Pepper had tremendous respect for Gordon. Because they would go for hours, go up the creeks there up in Floodwood. And they spent a lot of time together. Because I'd be out driving and working. And they were left there many hours alone. Let's see, what was I going to talk about? Oh, I was watching a funny thing on TV Land. I don't know. They should have that. Yeah, it should be national show. Where it's called Forever Young, and where they take 5 people under the age of 30 in their 20s, and 5 people over the age of 70. So there's like 50-year generation gap and put them in the same household, and it's pretty hilarious. I know just the generation gap between DJ and us is like 30 years. I can imagine 20 years on top of that, how much of a generation gap there would be. And it's just interesting how when you get to a certain age and just have more broad respect of the whole world, but yet the younger folk are not. You can't count them out. They're not as innocent and naive as we let on. It's amazing. It's amazing that they are. It's a wonderful time. I always say that. I say that to TJ. It's just a wonderful time to be alive, just to watch, just the change. I know this new HD revolution going on, and all everything switching to flat screens and stuff, high definition. I remember the early days of when color was still coming on to the screen. I remember some of the early black and white shows that would still air, and I try to explain this like the same thing as from black and white to color. That it's from regular just analog picture to high def to digital high definition. The picture quality is just astounding. It really is. You see the difference. And then it's just slowly going to phase out. All the tube style TVs are going to be. I remember when we first started working on computers and the monitors, they had the monochrome. There were only like two colors. There was kind of really a light, kind of a whitish blue, and ones that had the green tint. And when we started first working on those, and finally we got one of the first, not PlayStation, PS, but it's PS1, and it actually had color scheme. It had like 16 color, which doesn't seem like very much, but compared to no color, 16 color was remarkable. And when we started working on computers, some of the early computers barely had a half a megabyte video cards in them. And I remember when we made that transition to the first 1 megabyte video card. We went down and finally saved up enough money and got one. I was able to play Doom in full resolution, and I think it was like 116. It went from 16 to like 256, and then before I remember, it was mine like a trap. But it was just nice that when we worked on the computers there in the garage up north, when we made the transition from automotive to computers, it was a big step. It was new and interesting, and we'd spend hours in the garage, recording wood, putting operating systems on, taking them off, learning them, and I learned the mechanics of the computers, taking them apart, putting them together, and swapping out sound cards and video cards, and getting them getting the compatibility to match up, and software to match up with the compatibility of the cards. Very interesting times. And then just did the gaming to be able to add finally slowly creep up. It was amazing how the evolution of video games pushed technology, the video capabilities up the scale. So and the newer game would come out, and it would force you to upgrade to the newer, faster video cards. And now there's one game that I couldn't. I think it was Unreal, and I could not beat it. it was, the game was faster than, technology was faster. It was faster. The game was so fast. I could not win. Once I got the faster video card, then I could keep up and won to beat the game. And it took that because it's just the picture was slow in resolution and coming in. It was a handicap. Once I got the proper video card that it kept up with the action, then I could actually react as quick. My actions could quickly react enough to win the game. So it was definitely an achievement. And then to make the resolution into full, I wouldn't say 3D, but to the full 2D to almost 3D that you almost entered into the picture was remarkable. I know some of the earlier games, when Unreal came out with, what was it, 2004, and doing they'd had the test demo, even the pre-demo. So it was just you didn't really have the shading and the color of the rocks or the trees yet, but you had the stick, the basic stick figure running around in the map and learning how to maneuver. It was very fascinating to be in that early testing stage of the game, able to get it out and try it and give some feedback. And then when the full one came out, kind of interesting going back and seeing that. It's been 10 years. 10 years since I've really got into that. I used to work and be on the road, and then when I'd get home, Gordon would download some of the newer maps, and I would sit there and try to. It was nice to unwind, and he could sit there and watch. Actually, lay there and watch me. The bed wasn't too far from where I sat at the kitchen table there, and I would drift off to sleep, and I would play for a bit, and then eventually crash out. But interesting times. Times change. The evolution. I know TJ's Bowers, that new handheld game that he's got is a little 3D imaging. You don't have a 3D game for it, but he can turn that part of the screen on. He's wanting to get this other game supposed to be coming out here in the summer, 3D one that he likes. But it's just fantastic time to be alive. See, I was coming home. There were some fires this weekend. We could see them. Gordon and I have been going around to these cemeteries. He's got on this genealogical tree building thing. Some of these people request grave markers. If you look close to it, their name pops up and they request that you go by and take a picture of a grave site, a tombstone, grave marker. And we've been going around to a couple of these cemeteries here in Anoka and close and taking pictures for other people. And someone took some pictures of his folks up. They live in Alexandria, which is, I want to say, probably an hour and a half away from here. So and we haven't been up to see the folks' site in a long time. And we put in a request, and someone took the picture, so you can see Grandpa Frankie and his mother's site. And she passed away in '73, and that was a long time ago. To be without your mother. And Grandpa Frankie died in '98. 15 years? Yeah, it could be 15 years already. So, the two boys, the twins, Donald and David, were born in 55. One died at 5 years old. Died in '63. So what is that? 5 years. So born in '58. And the other one died in a tractor accident. 11. So both twins are buried up there next to the folks. It's interesting to see him because he tells the stories, and I try to remember and pass them on as part of his family. They would have been his half brothers. But there were some wildfires going on. We could see when he was driving around. We could see on this side of town. And then when we drove back, they had the road blocked. We couldn't come through. We had to drive all the way back around the freeway and come home. But I was working up here in this area today, in Anoka, and over Anoka, and drove by. I could see where it had burned big swaths of areas of field. But they haven't let the fire trucks, because there's a lot of fire trucks going, save the houses. I haven't seen any houses damaged, but it was really dry. Really dry, and it just burn. But I was thinking wildfire. There was a song, I played a song from 1975 by Michael Murphy called Wildfire, and it talks about like a little girl and her horse, and the horse runs away and gets lost in the snow, and Hoot Owl howling at the window for 7 nights in a row. Something like that. But it was very, very good, very touching, dramatic song for the time. And when he was around, very, very popular, 1975, Michael Murphy. May 1st, 2013.